Got some questions about the Kendrick Johnson
I'm
case.
not going to discuss that with you.
Why not, sir?
Because our case is closed.
The family has some concerns about why some things were not taken into evidence. There was blood on the
I'm not
wall.
going to discuss the case with you.
And why is that?
Because I don't want to.
Then, less than a minute after he'd invited us in,
What did you not understand that I said? I'm through talking to you.
he ushered us out
Thank you, Sheriff.
of Kendrick's face.
As handsome as my son was, then you see him like that, it's
What did the Harrington Funeral Home do with Kendrick's organs? And why was he stuffed with old newspaper?
You're watching the most shocking and informative LRJ TV News.
Hello, I'm LRJ. I cannot put into words how I feel right now after watching this, and to watch this video, and to share this video. Let's go.
Jacqueline Johnson knew something was wrong when their 17-year-old son Kendrick did not come home from school January 10th.
Come to Lowndes High School now. There's a dead body out here.
Okay, where at, sir?
Lowndes High School in the old gym.
The next day, Kendrick was found upside down in a rolled cheerleading mat like these. Who was 5'10", was reaching for a shoe that had fallen into the center of a 6-foot mat, and he got stuck. A tragic accident.
Said there was no foul play. He had no bruises, no nothing.
Did you believe that?
No,
And you still don't believe it?
no, I don't.
They think the story about the mat is a cover-up.
Well, I didn't know what to think.
According to Georgia law, Coroner Bill Watson should have been contacted immediately. Kendrick's body was found at about 10:30.
I was notified at 3:45.
Lieutenant Stride Jones is with the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office.
It's a very time-consuming process to basically work your way from the outside in. Once our investigators got to the deceased, the coroner was contacted immediately.
The only reason that I was questioning this incident whatsoever was I wasn't called to the scene in a timely fashion.
rock and it would have fell over. I tried to get in it. I couldn't get no forward my neck muscles into the mat.
Then there's this photo of Kendrick's face.
As handsome as my son was, then you see him like that, it's
The second time Jacqueline Johnson cried next to her son Kendrick's grave. The first time he was being lowered into the ground. This time he's being pulled out of it.
Did you ever expect you'd have to exhume his body?
No, I didn't expect to have to bury his body.
In June, Kendrick's body was sent to Florida. The Johnsons hired Dr. Bill Anderson to conduct an independent second autopsy. In that autopsy, Anderson told the Johnsons he'd found evidence that Kendrick died as the result of a blow to the neck and not accidental asphyxia, after slipping into a rolled gym mat at school, as investigators in Georgia had said. But what Dr. Anderson did not find shocked them.
When we got the body for the second autopsy, that organs, the heart, lungs, liver, etc., were not with the body.
The brain?
The brain, they were all absent.
Every organ from the top of Kendrick's head to his pelvis gone. A spokeswoman for the state tells CNN after its autopsy, the organs were placed in Johnson's body, the body was closed, then the body was released to the funeral home. State investigators say it's their normal practice, but what happened after his body arrived at the funeral home was anything but normal. Dr. Anderson showed me the pictures of Kendrick's body he'd taken during the second autopsy.
It's a Black Friday ad, JCPenney ad.
Yes.
Stuffing that newspaper in like he was a garbage can inside his body. It's unbelievable.
So what exactly did the Harrington Funeral Home do with Kendrick's organs? And why was he stuffed with old newspaper? We went to their office to find out, but their response to us? No comment. However, in a letter to the Johnsons' attorney, Harrington Funeral Home owner Antonio Harrington denies he received Kendrick's organs. He writes in part, his internal organs were destroyed through natural process and henceforth were discarded before the body was sent back to Valdosta. It's another disappointing answer for parents determined to know what happened to their son before and now after his death.
We contacted the Georgia Secretary of State's office because they issued licenses to funeral homes. We wanted to check on the history of Harrington Funeral Home. And when we told them why we were calling, they decided that they too wanted to know where are Kendrick Johnson's organs, and they wanted to know more about this process, this practice of stuffing bodies with newspapers, something that they'd never heard of either.
How was the family's autopsy doctor able to determine the cause of death then?
Yeah, I asked him, if the organs aren't there, how can you determine how Kendrick died? Well, he says that essentially blunt force trauma was not in the organs. It was in the right side jaw, which was actually noted as bruised during the paramedics report on the day he was found. He dissected the jaw, which had not been dissected in the first autopsy, found bleeding under the skin. He dissected the left side as well, did not find the bleeding, and he concluded that that bruising indicated, also with the bleeding, that there was blunt force trauma, that Kendrick took that blow to the neck.
You know, Victor, one thing I hadn't noticed, and actually a viewer who works in gyms noticed and tweeted me about this the other day, was that it looks like all the mats are rolled really tightly, except for the one that Kendrick was found in. That seems to have had a large opening.
America, I joke a lot. But in my past years as an investigator, very successful, working for the state, let me tell you right now, this is bullshit. And if I see any racist comments, I promise you I will disable every comment on this damn video. This is not about racism. This is not about they deserve it. It's about a human being whose life was taken from them. It's about a human being being treated unfairly in death. It is not right. And I'm not going to allow people to sit here and make a mockery of racism over this. This young man was murdered. This young man's body was stripped. They try to take any evidence from his murder so that the murderer can continue to walk on. And the police department don't even care about what's going on. You ought to be angry at the scums that are being elected. See, I have not spoke my opinion about this whole shutdown because my opinion about it is not pretty. But when you have people such as school districts who's lining the pockets of these local politicians, this is what happens. When you have mega companies line the pockets of Republicans and Democrats, oh yes, you Democrats, y'all some of bitches full of shit too. This is what happens. And the school's powers that be made sure who pockets they lined that this problem all goes away. But I got news for you. I'm LRJ, and with the help of Southwest Airlines and my frequent flyer miles, I'll be paying a visit real damn soon. Oh yeah, rate, comment, and subscribe. Why? Because you be glad you did. I love you all.